Amazing. Gabriele, how are we doing? Do you think,
Amazing.
are we ready to share?
Doing very good, but I have to say, Januga is always very humble. I mean, as brothers, we complement each other very well as brothers and co-founders.
Yeah.
I'm able to, let's say, promise and talk a lot to customers, and promise also in shows like last time. Yeah, of course, Jack, we'll make some rewards happening in the next spaces. But actually, in the background, who is then executing with the team and making sure that what I promise actually works? That's Gianluca, because otherwise, that would be fairly difficult. So
And
he's
big
very
props to the
humble.
team, of course,
Yeah,
as well, because
100%.
they execute on a constant, and it's also something that we're very proud of because
Yeah,
everyone's
100%.
giving it their all and super committed. So yeah.
Big shout out to our team. So let's get started. The first part that I'm showing you is, and I show you now the brand perspective. So if a company starts working with us and they want to either integrate with an existing loyalty program, they don't have one, or they have one and want to get more redemption options, what they get is they get access to this dashboard. The core and the heart of the dashboard is really the marketplace itself. And here you have all kinds of different rewards from different miles. Here, Alaska Airlines that is not yet integrated. This is the QBX VIP Club account. So we'll show you then the user experience from this one. You see all the active rewards, so miles and more, and Etihad Guest, which is integrated. You actually see also here all the merchandise that we have, from gift cards, physical products, from Apple, Samsung, so all kinds of cool products and brands that you actually like to use. Again, from fashion to electronics to sports, etc., etc. So this is really the heart of the rewards marketplace, where companies can decide, hey, what kind of brands do I want to integrate in my own loyalty program? How do I want to make my points more liquid? So in this case, that's really where all the action happens as soon as a brand integrates it. And the cool thing is really, if you have, like, just make an example, we added before miles and more, because just we got just a confirmation that we can also add it to the QBX IP Club. So the cool thing is brands can control this, so they say, yes, I want to be integrated with this brand or not. But it's literally a click of a button. So as soon as you click connect and the brands accept it, you get it, you see it directly in your loyalty program. And that's the efficiency that I was talking about before. You don't have that kind of efficiency today with other if you do, for example, direct integration with the miles and more. It's literally integrating their API, it's waiting for commercial agreements and all of that stuff that really takes months and months and months. And that's where we bring a huge amount of efficiency in, and that's really what brands that work with us love, because they know I make one API integration, or I take the white label application from qiibee and then I just click around in the marketplace and I can get everything I want. So here you asked before about the points to crypto exchanges. So you already see here a few that are live, and I'll show it to you from a user perspective in a second. So this is really where the whole action happens. Now, if we go to a few other, let's say, tabs, just to give a bit of a feeling, here brands can set up their own loyalty points. So they decide how their name is, which regions, etc. They decide how they want to show up in front of other brands. They can also decide what kind of chain they use. Key Rewards chain is, of course, the one that we propose the most, but we have also an integration with BNB Smart Chain. So if you want to launch your loyalty program on the BNB Smart Chain, it's also possible. You can choose that one, and we'll for sure integrate more and more chains the more we're going forward. But if you want to have a fully optimized, let's say, user experience for the loyalty space, then the Key Rewards chain is the one that you want to use. And Jack, please jump in if you have any questions, by the way, because I'm going quite fast always through these demos, since I know them fairly well.
No,
Then
but yeah, by all means, I will definitely. I think once you get into the, how the user demos, that's where the questions will start flying at you. Don't
perfect,
worry.
perfect. And then you see here, for example, our analytics. So that's what I was telling you before. We see here exactly what kind of user, and you see we launched it. The exchange part we launched it in July, so that's fairly new. But we already had more than 4,000 transactions. We see here exactly which kind of rewards, and you see crypto is highly, highly liked by our users. So you see exactly where these points have been spent, how much, and you as a brand get a good feeling of what kind of rewards do your users want, and that's actually how you can then also optimize all the rewards in your loyalty program itself. Because and of course you see it here, if my customers prefer crypto points to crypto, I don't maybe need all the other rewards that are in there, right? But I focus more on that side, and I try to integrate more cryptocurrencies in this case. Or we see here, okay, people like it guest miles, meaning that miles are something that people actually appreciate, so we're going to add up that. And that's really, this is unique. Like, you don't find this. Let's quickly forget blockchain. You don't even find that in the Web2 space. So the addition on having blockchain with this is really then the efficiency part. But this kind of overview is something completely new and the game changer for the whole market. We also have here then all the transact. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, yeah, I was just going to say. So does this work in like a cyclical sense of, if I want to buy Bitcoin, I can get reward points for buying Bitcoin, or
The other
is
way
it
around.
more the sense I can all the way around, so I can
So,
use the reward points to buy Bitcoin?
correct. So all the points that, for example, were in our case with the QBX VIP Club, we're giving to users. We actually have the points to crypto exchange activated, so you actually get BTC, for example, for your points. So you can decide, do I need to fly to Abu Dhabi as an example? Makes more sense that you actually get Etihad guest miles, right? If you want to fly to Germany, it makes more sense that you get miles for miles and more. But if you just say, hey, I actually want to get into, I don't know, more BTC, I want to have more Sol or whatever cryptocurrency you like, then you make a points to crypto exchange. And that's the really cool thing, because you have all of that options that you can choose from. And we have people that got a PlayStation 5, they got an iPhone, they got grocery gift cards, and that literally they told us, hey, I can buy for the next 3-4 months, I can buy free groceries because I got so many vouchers. So that's what I meant at the beginning when I said we don't know each users. I mean, we just soft launched it, so it's not even really launched, and we have 30,000 users. How do you want to know each users what they actually want and need at which exact time, right? So that's where having a lot of different rewards in your loyalty program helps a huge amount, because you can actually make these points more liquid because people have more utility out of it. And that's really the whole core of what we're doing. So when we think about those $500 billion worth of rewards, they're not liquid right now because people don't know how to use them. And that's really the main difficulty, because you said you like coffee, but if you don't want to get coffee anymore, or let's say you want to make a quick pause, maybe you want to fly away, so you would like to exchange your coffee points into miles because it helps you more in that moment. So that's really where this extra liquidity starts from, and that's really where we bring this efficiency in through blockchain technology. You see here again
I
all
love
the analytics. You have here all the transaction hashes that are on the Qiibee rewards chain. So companies have the full overview of what is going on with their loyalty program, exactly what is happening with their points, and again, get the full benefit of having these analytics. We also have a NFT launch. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. I'll raise my hand. I think that's probably the easiest way. And then you
Okay,
can,
so I did. I heard something. I thought that you would ask something. So
No,
brands can
yeah,
actually
I
also
do have
perfect.
Gabriele. I was just going to say before we move on, so you've got such a broad array of options, right? But surely, like, depending on what you want to buy, there's going to be different sort of tiers in terms of how many points you're going to get. So is there something for the user? And maybe we're going to get to that, but where they
Mhm.
can say, look, I'm going to buy groceries, but if I buy groceries in US dollars or in some sort of currency, it's going to be worth sort of this much for me. However, if I buy cryptocurrency, then there's like a 3x points tally on this, so I can buy more and get more for my book. Is that something that you do currently?
That is for sure something that brands can do. And what we will do is we will have, or we actually have a cashback function in our QBX IP Club. And there, depending on the tier that you have, you will get more cashback, more or less cashback. The main goal is really to, at the end of the day, give more liquidity to the points themselves. So when I spend money, let's say I buy my coffee, right? And now I get some points, that I actually have the decision, where do I want to spend those points? Instead of just being able only to spend them in coffee, these brands can decide, you know what, you can also get miles, you can also get BTC, because that makes you as a user much more engaged if you see more options where to spend your points on. And the cool thing is, if you think about crypto, it is a really nice way if you can exchange points to crypto, because a lot of Web2 users that don't know how to buy on exchange, they don't know how to they maybe are unsure if they want to invest their hard-earned money, and you get 10, 20, 30, $100 worth of loyalty points. It's a super easy entry into the whole space because suddenly it's not, I don't need to risk my hard-earned money to get a test and to see how it works. I can actually spend my loyalty points on it. And that's really where we also said, okay, it makes a lot of sense to just push this kind of redemption option, because there are a lot of users that love that and they want to have that, but they don't really know how to get in, right? And that's really how the whole logic of the rewards marketplace has been built.
That's super cool. With the points themselves, then, are they pegged in some way to a currency, or like are the points always going to be worth the same across airlines, across crypto,
Very good
or could there
question.
be a bit of a yeah?
So also there we give the freedom to brands to decide, because of course, and you see that a bit in like the classic loyalty programs. Let's take the frequent flyer program. Of course, you get the biggest value back for your miles if you make an upgrade to business. If you get a flight with your miles, you actually get the biggest, let's say, cash to point value, right? As soon as you go out of the loyalty program, so you get your Amazon gift card, then it starts getting a bit lower, which makes sense. You have completely different margin as a company on those, let's say, redemption options, meaning that you also lower the conversion rate. So we give the freedom to the brands that they can decide it. As you can see here in the loyalty point setup, brands actually decide how much value their point has. In our case, we defined here one VIR is worth around 5 cents, but then depending how you use it, it can have a bit more or less value. So if you use it, for example, on one of those NFTs that we just showed here, where we had the raffle, for example, the QBX package, etc., those have much higher value because those are our products. It's mostly like that. If it's your own product, you have much higher value that you get. As soon as you go out, you get a bit of a less value.
So to me, this means that there's a real opportunity for Qiibee here to almost market make in a sense of, or maybe that's the wrong expression actually, but basically, I would imagine, look, some of these companies are going to be similar. Airlines, for example, there's a ton of different airlines, all go to the same spots, but maybe there's not been that direct correlation or visibility to show, look, this is how many points are worth for this airline to that airline. So do you feel like at a certain point to stay competitive and make sure that people are using the points for their projects, that they'll have the visibility to see what other companies are doing, so it'll maybe create a bit more of a competitive nature to make sure that like the points are actually worth more to the user to use it for them rather than one of their competitors? Is that something you've foreseen?
100%. We think that that will be the more we're going forward, the more that transparency will come into the space. Right now, if you look at the loyalty market, it is quite secretive in the sense that they don't want to tell you directly how much their point is valued or how much their mile is valued. But first of all, there are so many loyalty influencers that actually make those lists. Then we also created last year our global rewards liquidity report, where we actually checked out, I think, more than 70 different loyalty programs, and we actually checked out how liquid are those. So how many partners do you have to actually earn your points? How many partners do you have to spend your points? What is the value range if you spend it there or there? So it's a lot of work that needs to be done also from the community in that sense. So we're part of that community, or we see ourselves like that, where we can educate the whole market and give more information to show them, hey, this is where you actually get more, right? At the end of the day, it will be more and more competitive for brands, because the more loyalty programs are out there, the more as a brand I actually need to do something to engage my customers with my loyalty program. And it's the same as with a product. If we both create the same shoe, as an example, we need to give additional value. So we need to differentiate each other on a product level. And the same thing will happen with the loyalty program. So the first part is really give more redemption options. And then the second stage will really be, okay, who gives more value to their customers? And there, of course, you will see where customers will go.
That's yeah, that to me is almost the secret sauce for like stage two of this is, yeah, once
100%.
you almost have, all these people who've never been able to offer rewards before coming in and saying, look, actually, like I'm prepared to give you way more of a better rate if you want my product as opposed to someone else. And then that person
100%.
sees that and they're like, well, actually, no, like we want to at least be competitive with that. Like it's gonna cause like really, I think, a huge shift in the loyalty space. So that's crazy.
100%. Yeah.
Really. But look, I'm going to throw the mic back over to you because I want to
No,
definitely
no, it's
give the
fine.
audience enough to do this. But yeah, this is fascinating.
Really, really cool questions. So I'll do it like this. I mean, this is I go quickly also in the user experience so that we see how it looks from a customer side. Just to finish it up here, brands can easily launch their NFTs also in their loyalty program. They can decide, do I want to make it transferable? Do I want to make it sellable in the loyalty program itself? And here we're always talking about in the loyalty program. So I will be able to sell it and buy it for the points that I earned from the program, which is also completely different dynamic and also something completely new in the whole loyalty space. And then, I mean, we have here a bit more the developers stuff that is interesting in all the integration options, the extensions that we have. So you have integration options from white label to the API. This is the white label marketplace will come soon. We have all kinds of extension that you can actually connect your loyalty program with. So you can buy also points. You can make that able. You can have a cashback. We're also working on co-branded credit cards. So a lot of stuff that can be used. We have, of course, a sandbox that's developers love that, so that they can play a bit around. But this is really what let's say what the whole marketplace for brands gives. And again, complete game changer in the space. No other loyalty solution provider has something like that out there, and we get a huge amount of really, really good feedback from enterprises. And you also see that, let's say, with the amount of brands that we have activated and in there. So I would say from the brand's perspective, we can go to the user perspective, and that's actually where the action happens. So this is the QBX VIP Club, actually fully mobile optimized. So I'll show it now on the desktop because it's easier. But here we have, let's say, the most uh, obvious, let's say, pieces of a loyalty program where let me close this a bit up, where you see how many points do I actually have. You can see how can you actually reward, get more points. And by the way, this is a white label application that we've built that is used also by other brands. We just basically reused it for us to create then our QBX IP Club. And you can connect your wallet. In our case, we have a QBX Founders Key, so the NFT that we have that you can directly connect and get additional rewards. You can, in this case, redeem your points for all kinds of charity here. We have the Founders Key also in here. But the cool part comes actually here. You asked me before, can I exchange points into crypto? Yes. So here, I didn't connect my account yet, but otherwise I could now exchange my points into crypto. And it's super easy. I mean, I can just put in here how many, let's make it a bit more exciting. So I can exchange here, for example, the points that I have in BNB coin. It calculates directly how much do I get as soon as I connect my wallet and my account of Binance in this case, and I click exchange points. A few minutes later, I have it on my account. The same thing with the airlines. So you can see here Etihad guest miles as an example, miles and more miles. So also here I can type in how many points I want to exchange. I see, okay, cool, I get 56 miles in this case, exchange points, and this is instantly. So in other cases, and also with big credit cards provider, it takes 48 to 72 hours until you get your miles. So if you want to exchange points into miles, it takes a huge amount of time. And that's really done because of this legacy infrastructures that I was mentioning before, because you have one, let's say, provider, one loyalty program with one infrastructure, one database. You have the other loyalty program with their database, and they're just not compatible with each other. So you have automatically reconciliation issues. You have automatically, literally CSV files flowing around, and people manually updating accounts. And of course, that takes 48, 72 hours. And if you can tokenize those, in this case, those 2 points and reward currencies, right, on the same, let's make it easy, database, which is decentralized, so none of them can actually change something, that's where the magic happens, because suddenly you can instantly exchange those points and miles, and that's really where liquidity starts to happen. Because if I want to book a flight today, I don't want to wait 3 days until my miles come on my account. And that actually happened to me, where I needed to book a flight. I saw, let me exchange my bank credit card points 2 miles, and then I saw, oh shit, it takes 48 hours. Of course, what happens is 48 hours later, I went to book the flight, and the flight was more expensive. So everything that happened in that moment didn't really help me a lot. We create more liquidity, actually created more costs. And that's really a huge value that users at the end of the day will get with instant exchanges and with getting them more liquidity. We also have here a redemption shop. So for example, oh, now the session has expired. You can ask the question in the meantime that this is loading.
Yeah, yeah. I think one question I have around this all is We've well, actually, I've got an experience for you first. So I think for people who are like, wait, tech still works that way, like CVS, like CV, really. So my previous company was a startup, ran for about 15 years, and the problem is to update and upgrade the software of this company. We had to take the whole site down, and the site couldn't be
Hmm.
brought down. Like, this is the thing. So realistically, you just start putting band-aids on. Like as a developer, as someone in QA, you start figuring out ways to not take the site down and just upgrading the code or updating the code in a way that it works around that. And all of a sudden, you have these websites and these infrastructures that are just monsters. Just literally like, oh, if you
Hmm.
remove that band-aid, actually, it's going to cause some other leak over here. It gets crazy. So I think that makes a lot of sense to me when you mentioned like how these like sort of companies talk to each other, because
Hmm.
it'll be set up the same way. Airlines can't go down. They can't bring their site down, and the only
No,
way to replicate that is to have the exact same team that built it multiplied, hire twice the amount of staff to create another site alongside whilst the other site runs, and then close and switch. You just don't get that anymore. So that's
100%.
why like companies like, you guys get such a honestly just a competitive advantage in this area. I do have a question, but if you're ready,
Please
I
go ahead.
can save that until.
No, no,
Yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so my question is a little bit more aligned to the product side or the project side or company side who's going to align with the rewards points. A lot of these companies now have started using reward points. I'm a big fashion guy. Like I love like Stussy, Kith, Amy Leon Dior, all of these like brands. Like if they bring scarcity into the mix, I'm sold. Like it's like, oh,
Hmm.
only certain amount of people have this thing. A lot of these guys now have figured out that if they add reward points to this, I can get the cap before it goes on to public sale. If I've spent enough at Stussy, at Kif, like they will say, look, you have 10,000 points, and therefore we're going to give you, I don't know, a day before the general public can buy this thing. If there's anything you want, there's still going to be a huge amount of people who have that loyalty reward system. So it's not guaranteed, but gives you a much better opportunity. With Kibby, do you think there's any possibility that in the future that access and that ability to buy things before public release will be a little bit more immutable, will be a little bit more, cross compatible? Where, if I've got a Stussy cap and I've spent a lot of money at Stussy, maybe some other brands want someone who's that loyal to a brand, and maybe
Hmm.
they're going to give me
100%.
your
Yeah,
access.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And that's where the small, or let's say the NFT launchpad that I showed you before in the rewards marketplace or in the dashboard actually helps out, because there as a company, I can set up these VIP experiences, like let's call it like them. And what I can do is I can use them for my own loyalty program, but I can also put them in the marketplace, meaning that I can open it up to a lot of other brands that want to integrate my VIP experience, as you exactly say. Because if I know this is a very loyal member on the other side, why not opening it up to my loyalty program itself? Because I know, and mostly if it's let's say a product that actually fits to each other. So if you have flying and travel as an example, and you have a lot actually of, they're called status match campaigns, where you actually, if you status platinum on this loyalty program, you get the gold or platinum status on the other side. So these are all kind of things that you can easily manage through our dashboard by creating those NFTs in your loyalty program and opening it up also to other brands. So 100% feasible through our dashboard.
That makes so much sense to me because they're so isolated right now because they're all just inbuilt within their own ecosystem. Something like Kibby comes along and brings, a number of these things. They get the
Correct.
metrics and they collaborate, right? It's not like why would they do that? Because it works in both ways. Like if you can say, look, holding my points, holding like 10,000 KIF points or Stussy points, whatever, will mean you can also get access to early releases on this brand, this brand, this brand, and this brand. And also that brand then has like a better chance of sellout because, people from those other
100%.
brands will see, okay, these are the guys they've partnered with, they must be at the same quality. And there's obviously, so yeah, I think that's
100%.
fascinating. I really love how you
And
guys are thinking about all.
And that's also again where the efficiency comes in, because you don't want to talk with each single brand. You don't want to make an integration with each single brand. You just want to go on a marketplace, tack, 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 click as a company, have everything in your loyalty program that you actually like from the brands that you love and you think, hey, they make sense for my customers. and then just work on what you're actually good at, like engaging customers, giving them love, and building products that they actually love. You don't want to work on API integrations. You don't want to talk commercial deals with different airlines or different other brands. You just want to focus on making your loyalty program as sexy as possible at the end of the day.
Exactly. Awesome stuff. Show me more. I'm sold.
That's just the other part of the rewards that we have. So you can see it here, like all kinds of electronic products that we have, from Apple to Samsung to gift cards, etc., that people then can use to spend their points on. We have here a few of the brands that we have. So just through the QBX VIP Club, of course, here we're having almost all the rewards, or a big part of the rewards that we have in the marketplace, we have integrated in here, and you get the full breadth of what you can actually get out of those points. So yeah, this is the QBX IP Club. So the customer side of what I just showed you on the other side. And again, all the brands that work with us, they have all these both sides. So they get access to the dashboard that I was showing before, plus they either have a loyalty wide application from us or an API integration. And you also see here, I mean, I just took some blog posts that we published. You see here, for example, the white label that we did for Renault, where we also had Apple and Samsung products in there that you were able to use. We did an NFT for the French, how's it called? French.
Tennis.
Yeah, thank you. Tennis competition last year, where in Roland Garros, where you were able to get a VIP experience. We did a pilot with Coca-Cola in Switzerland, where you were able to get points to test a new unmanned story. Was in that case, you were receiving points, and then you were able to actually exchange in crypto. So it was really interesting to see how they wanted to try that crypto option. And here you have all the options that they've chosen. So few very notable brands that we worked with, where we also super proud that we had the possibility to work with them and still work with them. And maybe another small one, as a, in the sense that a small reminder link, but a very big brand, Miles & More from Lufthansa, that also owns Swiss. So you also see here the official partnership that they launched with us, where they are very proud to show off a leading blockchain-based B2B rewards marketplace. So that's also our way, honestly, to bring the whole space forward, because we have the feeling that that's one of the most important parts for every technology. But I think that crypto and blockchain has that even more. We need to push, we need to build, we need to show solutions, and we need to bring them to mainstream. And we need big companies talking about it, so that actually we can engage more and more users. So that's really always something that we focus on, that these brands also communicate about it, and that they show it off, that they talk about, hey, it's a blockchain-based rewards marketplace, and that the world really sees how you can actually use blockchain.